team and make the national strategy. You haven't mentioned ITU much, less than ISO and EC. How you will the relationship between China and ITU? Actually, China is very much involved in ITU. I didn't list the figure here, but however, it is reported about 25% of the ITU proposals are from China. And also in 5G, China still play very strong role in this area. So I believe some of the analysis overseas are true that China did play very important, did invest a lot in 5G technology and future technology. It is now currently challenging the US and European position in high-tech area. So no doubt in standards drafting organizations like ITU, it is just reflecting of the results for the technology competitions. That's why if you check the proposals, there's a lot led or proposed by China. Are all SO and IEC etc. standards free in China, or just those they use in law? No. In China, all the national standards are free. Compulsory standards you can get free downloading, and voluntary standards you can read online. And if ISO and IEC standards are adopted in China, it should be free. But as ISO and IEC and SAC are still under discussion, so current policy is that all other national standards can be accessed free online. But ISO and IEC adopted China national standards, you can only see the title, and you have to buy the ISO and IECs in China. And the compulsory standards adopted from ISO and IEC can be free downloaded online from China. So the problem is, for example, if I'm an industry, I'm a manufacturer, I'm a factory, there is a standards free online. It's probably easy for me to reference there and to reflect in my design or in my manufacturers. And if it is ISO and IEC adopted standards, I have to buy that. I know it is not so simple and easy decision, but still, I believe that if all other standards are free of charge, which will practically make ISO and IEC adopted standards in a disadvantaged position in China. Will you make the slides available? Yes, not only the slides, I believe also the recording of this webinar. And do you know if the NSS has followed somehow the ISO methodology for its development? What do you mean by NSS? National Standardization Strategy? If it is the case, I believe that China now have their own process for the strategy development. So I didn't hear that they follow the ISO methodology for that. Did I hear right that China all the standards are free? Yes, free of national standards can be read free online. The ISO and IEC adopted national standards you have to buy. Compulsory standards are free for downloading. And sector standards will be free in the future. So you are right, I didn't see something wrong. Yeah. And how are the UN Sustainable Development Goals being incorporated in the strategy? I believe China will consider the Sustainable Development Goals, but whether it will be integrated to the strategy, I believe that China will have its own green strategy or green policy, which will be indicated incorporated into the national strategy. In the early 2000s, China worked on a national standardization strategy. What's the difference between those early activity and what is being done now? I believe 20 years after that, it is totally new different project. I don't even believe that the project team will reference the work in early 2000 at all, because if you are in China, you will see a lot of fast development. Everything's different. Something's different even after 2-3 years. So I believe that this project is a totally brand new project, and it will be no relation to the early research, or at least not that much. India imports significantly from China. India wants to introduce many regulations to ensure only quality goes inter-country. What is China's approach to increase compliance to India's increasing regulations? India, as any other country in China, are regarded as overseas market. So in China asks the manufacturers to fulfill the target countries' regulations. So I believe that China will not do any specific actions to improve the Chinese manufacturers to do more for India, because, for example, the consumer products in China, the manufacturers will produce their products and shipped not only to India, but to Brazil, to Indonesia, to Mexico. All the manufacturers need to check the local or target countries' regulations and try to fulfill the requirements there. It is in China believes this is a manufacturer's responsibility to make sure their products fulfill the requirements of the targeted country. Which departments predominantly driving technology standards in China from the Trump Association standards? And do you see a differentiation between domestic and international agenda? Yes. In China, the standards are made by different technical committee, and at least currently I saw a lot of disconnection between local domestic technical committee work and international standardization activities. So there's a big gap and disconnection on there. So basically you see a group of people went to ISO and IEC, they made Chinese proposal, they do Chinese standards, it has been approved in ISO and IEC, and then finally they have to translate back to Chinese again and to discuss in the China National Technical Committee again. So it's very weird. The international activity by Chinese sometimes are different from the local. I believe SEC is trying to do more work in this area to make coordination or more parallel developing of domestic and international standardization agenda, but it need a lot of time, because current situation is the WHO group, the international standardization group from China Mirror committees do not sometimes always reflect the domestic technical committees' wish or their position. Another question, many thanks for this excellent overview of China's standardization development, extremely useful and eye-opening. Just wish that European regulators take also a holistic view of the importance of the European standardization and its importance for the European industry's competitive position in the world. Okay, I agree. And it seems we still have what especially could be done to increase the influence on standards in ISO and IEC. If by Chinese, if you mean by China, what especially could be done to increase the influence? China, for example, China, as many other countries, would like to have more ISO and IEC chairpersons, conveners, secretaries, which is one way. And the second way is China trying to have more proposals, more new working proposals in ISO and EC, so some standards can be, so some Chinese technology can be integrated in the international standards or similar activities. I believe this is a way to influence ISO and EC. Although the breaking through could be that, voting or whatever, it also be well helpful. Can you please share the links to free standards? Many thanks. Yes, you go to SEC website to see China National Standards Information Platform. All the standards can be read there in Chinese language only. There's no English standards in China at this moment. How can CN adopt international standards and national obligation standards or technical regulations? Because if people have to pay for that, I believe this is not issues between it is not issues inside China. China, after the standardization reform, decided all standards should be free and people don't have to pay for that. However, ISO and IEC have their own copyright policy. They cannot see that China, if they agreed China, all the standards in China are free, how could they support other countries, Japanese, in India, Europe? They still need to adopt ISO and IEC standards, and they still need to respect the copyright policy, and they still need the consumers or the industries still need to pay for the standards. So this is not only for China. So this is the global policy for copyright. Why is SAC is not responsible for developing the NSS? SAC is only an administration organization with the government servant officers, which I believe about 40 or 50 now. They are the leader, or they can coordinate for developing the NSS. However, there are too many other ministries, Ministry of Information, Industry and Information Technology, MIT, Ministry of many other. So they are also involved in this area. So SAC, if I say, could only be the secretariat of the NSS draft team. Now, I believe this is all from my side, and thank you for listening, and have a good weekend. And me, myself, in China, will enjoy my Friday night, and I hope you all have a wonderful day and the wonderful weekend afterwards. Thank you, and please send me your questions if you have any, and we will give you the materials online. So check online of our webinar, of our videos, and also recording of the webinar. And slides will be sent on Monday because my assistants, they will go off to enjoy their weekend night. So Monday, you receive all the information. Thank you and bye.